Welcome to another evening of brisca Formula 1 stock car racing here on Premier Sports. Tonight the action comes from the Shaleway at Stoke Stadium. A big meeting to say the least, the second 2017 World Championship semi-final. 10 drivers already qualified for the World Final at Ipswich in September from the other semi-final up at Skegness, won by Nigel Green. Another 10 will be trying to join them tonight, including the reigning champion of the world, Frankie Wainman Jr. in number 1. Cracking entry of cars here tonight to do battle on the notoriously bumpy Stoke Shaleway in good weather here in the Potteries. A great night of stock car racing from the F1s in prospect. First part of our programme will see a separate race for the white and yellow graders only, then the first heat for the non-semi-finalists. The big race is race 3, the World Championship semi-final. The second part of our programme, a Consolation, the meeting final, and then the Grand National with the meeting final winner starting a lap down. We begin with a separate race for white and yellow graders only, some of the lower scorers in the sport, of course white and yellow being the lowest 2 points grades. We have 15 cars out there for this one, a chance for some of the lesser lights of the sport to shine over the first 16 laps of the meeting. Some of the drivers out there for this one, we have former Rebels champion, number 83 Darren Clark, 45 Nigel Harry is out there, ever the crowd pleaser, 244 former V8 Hot Stocks Gold top Mick Rogers. Also have veteran campaigner Jeff Nichols in number 215. 415 Russell Cooper is in pole position. We also have a novice starting from the back of the grid. Welcome to brisca F1, 413 John Lawrence in his first ever meeting. Great weather and a well-watered track here at Stoke for race number 1. We get underway then. Darren Clark and Russell Cooper leading them off. 415 Cooper leads, already a spinner. 448 Jason Eaton has gone off at turn 4. Bumpers going in there. Chris Worrell in 263 goes for a spin on the first turn. Looks like everybody will avoid him. No, 127 Austin Moore caught up with him there. So already we've got cars going each and every way around this first lap. We had a change up front. No, that's Jason Eaton rejoining just in front of our race leader, Russell Cooper in 415. It's Darren Clark in second place, Steve Malkin in 308 in third. There's Sam Jacklin in 137, relative newcomer to brisca F1. He's raced V8 Hot Stocks in the past. 32 Chris Farnell at the head of the yellow tops at the moment. So they start to spread out and sort themselves out. It's getting fairly dusty out there already despite the earlier track watering. We're on board with 278 Paul Hopkins looking back at Nigel Harry in the number 45 car, the Barston Lakes car. See the shale flying there as we look back from Hopkins. 415 Russell Cooper with the lead ahead of Darren Clark in the number 83 car, looks like in second place. Let's see, here's a lap down. We've lost 263 Chris Worrell, he's on the infield. We saw him spin out early on in this one. Through the dust comes Cooper with the lead. He's got Jason Eaton ahead of him in 448. Next in the order, 308 of Steve Malkin. Mick Rogers fighting his way past the 337 car of Dave Willis. Also in there is Hopkins, our camera car, number 278, side by side with Nigel Harry in the number 45 as they bump and shove their way past each other. Harry gets past the number 278 of Paul Hopkins, Dave Willis in behind them in 337. Then we've got Sam Jacklin and looks like Richard Woods next in the order in car 268, the red car there. Still out front we have the 415 of Russell Cooper. Chris Farnell, number 32, has just done the fastest lap of the race, the man from Lancashire. Sam Jacklin on the back of Dave Willis. A big cloud of smoke up there. Somebody's blown up on turns 1 and 2. I'll try and identify that car in a moment. Mick Rogers has just done the fastest lap of the race now as Jason Eaton goes across the turn there, right in front of race leader Russell Cooper. Was lucky to avoid him there. Cooper continues to lead the way. Darren Clark in behind him. It's Steve Malkin Jr., number 308, who's blown the engine by the look of things there. Russell Cooper leads it. Then there's John Lawrence, our novice racer in car number 413. I believe he's next brisca F2 racer. Darren Clark getting the bumper in there on the 415 car. Clark goes through. I'm not sure whether Darren Clark's on the lead lap though. Here comes the 415 car, and he's collided with 2 back markers go out there, so we lose our leader. It's going to be Chris Farnell who goes through in car 32 to take up the lead. So we lose Clark, Lawrence and Russell Cooper there. And Darren Clark, I think, was on the lead lap. 137 Sam Jacklin's burst a tyre. He's out of the race as well. So this is handing Chris Farnell a clear lead ahead of Mick Rogers and Nigel Harry. So it was 413 Russell Cooper went spinning there, along with Darren Clark, and Russell Cooper was left with nowhere to go. He went into the side of the 413 of John Lawrence, so a bit of baptism of fire for our newcomer in his first ever brisca F1 race. And it's left this man up front, 32. Chris Farnell out in front. Lawrence goes onto the centre in 413. He's out of the race. Lost Darren Clark as well in 83. In fact, he was on the lead lap, so he did make a move for the lead there going into lap 9, but he didn't lead for very long before tangling with John Lawrence. So the race settling back down again after that little contretemps there at turns 3 and 4. Bitter luck for Russell Cooper and for Darren Clark. It's now Chris Farnell, number 32, looking for his first win of the season. Cooper's rejoined, but nearly a lap behind. Second place is 244 of Mick Rogers, the man from Worcestershire, and Nigel Harry up there in third in 45. Through the dust they come. 3 laps to go in this whites and yellows race. Passing the stationary car of Steve Malkin, blew his engine a few laps ago. Don't think we're going to see any further major changes in this one. The top 3 are well clear. Looking back to see who's in 4th place, I think it's Paul Hopkins in 278, so it's yellow graders all the way in this one. Darren Clark still trying to get going again, shunting back and forth there on turn 3. We ride with Richard Woods in car 268. He's in 5th position. Starting the last lap then, the start marshal signals them through. Chris Farnell, car number 32 it is, who has the lead, coming up on Russell Cooper, who led the first half of this race until that tangle with the back marker. Chris Farnell is going to take his first race win of the season. Car number 32, the man from Clitheroe, comes through to take the checkered flag. Well done to Chris Farnell in car 32. Second place it will be Mick Rogers ahead of Nigel Harry, and Paul Hopkins holding off Richard Woods to take 5th position. Jeff Nichols, I think, was next home. So lively stuff from the white and yellow graders. See them out in the heats. Next up, of course, the World Semi-Final doubling up as Heat 2. Farnell the winner by 1.2 seconds ahead of Mick Rogers. Nigel Harry third ahead of Hopkins, Woods and Jeff Nichols. Just 10 cars going the distance in that one. It was Mick Rogers who got the fastest lap of the race. On next then to heats at number 1. Russell Cooper and Austin Moore again leading the grid. These are the drivers not competing in the World Championship semi-final tonight. The semi-final, 24 drivers will be on the grid for that one. That doubles up as heat number 2 effectively in tonight's meeting. So ready for heat number 1 then. Drivers to look out for in this one, including Paul and Bradley Harrison, the father and son pairing. Frankie JJ is out there, Frankie Wainman Jr. Matt Newson in car number 16. We've got Ben Riley out there in car 422, Joe Booth 446, and the European champion, and the man who won the other World Championship semi-final at Skegness, Nigel Green, number 445, from the back of the grid. Also a welcome return for John Dowson Jr., shale specialist in number 94. So here we go then, 16 laps for this heat at number 1, 20 cars out there. The green flag goes down and Russell Cooper once again leads them off, and Mick Rogers gets taken out down the home straight. That's an interesting way of taking the home straight, perfectly sideways, nose into the wall. Who was pushing him there? Couldn't quite identify which of the yellow graders it was. Everybody else has got round the first turn okay. And the race settling in then. Bradley Harrison under fire from 422 of Ben Riley. He gets walloped straight in at turn 3. More cars get caught up behind them, trying to go 4 wide out of turn 4. That isn't going to work. Carl Hawkins hits a marker tyre, but the caution flags are out for the stranded car of Mick Rogers on the home straight. So the yellow flag comes out. The cars will bunch up single file, ready for a restart. There's Mick Rogers. We've also lost Bobby Griffin in car number 166, the blue grader. He's on the infield. Russell Cooper then in the Racing Cargo sponsored number 415 car leads Austin Moore. Third place 448 of Jason Eaton. First yellow grader Jeff Nichols, and then we've got Chris Farnell, the winner of our dedicated white and yellow grade race, transitionally to the main programme. There's the red and yellow checkered roof of Nigel Green in 445 in there behind Frankie JJ in treble 5. There's still plenty of cars left, plenty of laps left. The race was only 1 lap old when the yellows came out for the stranded car of Mick Rogers. Russell Cooper looking to hang on all the way in front this time. We get ready for the green flag to drop. Matt Newson has dropped out of the race as well. His car parked up on the inside of turn 4, racing the Mark Sargent shale car today. So away we go with the restart. Then Austin Moore trying to attack for the lead. It's Russell Cooper who holds the lead of the race. There's Ben Riley ahead of Craig Finnegan in number 55, the former world champion. his title in 2014. Oh, we've lost Nigel Harry. He goes into the wall. I think he tangled with Jeff Nichols there at turn 3. Nichols now under fire from Nigel Green in 4.45. Behind him, Frankie JJ. Here comes Ben Riley in 4.22. The Rainmeister, as we've been calling him this season. No rain today, though. Certainly no threat of rain. Cooper leads it. Down the home straight, going clear of, in second place, Chris Farnell, the earlier winner. Austin Moore having a go at Paul Harrison, the 2011 world champion. It's a brave move. Moore won his title on the tarmac at Northampton. That was Nigel Green. He knows he's going to be starting from the front row of the world final grid this year. It'll be inside or outside. We'll find out after today's semi-final here at Stoke. Bit of a push there into turn 1 and 2. Craig Finnegan and Ben Riley getting the old heave-ho. That was from Austin Moore, who's certainly hitting everything in sight here in 1.27, and we have a change for the lead. Chris Farnell going through, coming out of turn 4. Russell Cooper trying to fight back. Farnell goes wide out of turn 2, and Cooper retakes the lead, but they've been reeled in by shale specialist John Dowson Jr. Welcome return for him today. Farnell gets potted there at turn 3 by Russell Cooper as he retakes the lead. Behind them, John Dowson Jr., Mr. Bellevue, as we've called him in recent seasons, has seemed unbeatable over the last couple of years on the Bellevue Shale up in Manchester. Craig Finnegan has done the fastest lap of the race, meanwhile, as number 2, Paul Harrison, has a go at 4.46, Joe Booth. They're fighting for 4th. 3 leaders up ahead of them. John Dowson having a go at Chris Farnell for 2nd place. It's Cooper that leads ahead of Farnell, Dowson, Booth, Harrison and Nigel Green in 6th position. Then we've got Craig Finnegan behind them. Dowson up the inside, he's taken 2nd place. It's still Russell Cooper, the white grader, going very well indeed, hanging on in front there. Farnell has a go at the 94 of John Dowson Jr., but he hits the fence heavily there, bouncing off the wall coming out of turn 2. Nigel Green under fire from Craig Finnegan, wallops him wide into turn 3. Farnell's dropped back into this group as well. Could we have a change to the lead down the home straight? Yes. The number 94 of John Dowson Jr. has gone through, and Paul Harrison following him into 2nd place in car number 2. Certainly a lively race this one. Cooper down to 3rd, Finnegan 4th, Green is in 5th place, down to 6th, Joe Booth in 4.46. John Dowson Jr. under fire now for the lead from Paul Harrison. He's been European, British and world champion among many other wins over the years. Up the inside, he takes the lead going into turns 3 and 4. John Dowson Jr. will fight back, 5 laps to go. Paul Harrison has the lead, Dowson in with the bumper at turn 1. Can he get up the inside? Not quite. Paul Harrison defending well there. And now Craig Finnegan wants a piece of this as well in 55, getting the bumper in on Dowson at turn 3. Nigel Green is up into 4th place. The higher graders rising to the occasion. This one, the Blues, Reds and Superstars. It's Paul Harrison who leads the way. Finnegan through into 2nd place as they go into turn 1. Dowson again trying to fight back. Coming up to lap a rather smoky back marker there. That's Austin Moore in 1.27. Nigel Green just biding his time in 4th place in 4.45. The dominant forces, particularly on tarmac this year, but has had a few wins on the shale as well. Paul Harrison has pulled away at the front in car number 2. Dowson Jr. still all over the back of the number 55 of Craig Finnegan. 2 laps to go for Paul Harrison in car number 2. Dowson Jr. having a look as they come round turns 1 and 2, trying to retake that 2nd place. Making some quick lap times here, Paul Harrison. Into his last lap he goes. Is Nigel Green going to make a move into the top 3 here as well? They're not going to challenge Paul Harrison in car number 2. Down the back straight, he is going to take the win. Craig Finnegan, I think he's going to hang on for 2nd. Bit of smoke there from the 94 of Dowson, but it's a win for Harrison ahead of Finnegan and Dowson. Green 4th. It's the 4.46 of Joe Booth who rounds out the top 5, and I think Russell Cooper got a top 10 there as well. We'll confirm that in just a moment. Russell Cooper leading the early going once again, but it looks like he's got a better finish this time. Car number 2 of Paul Harrison takes the number 1 slot in that race, though. Harrison the winner by 1.5 seconds ahead of Craig Finnegan, then Dowson, Green, Booth and Bradley Harrison, son of Paul, in 6th place ahead of Russell Cooper. 14 cars went the distance in that one. It was Ben Riley, number 422, who got the fastest lap.
Number 2, Paul Harrison, winner of Heat 1 here at Stoke. That was a nice steady drive.
Yeah, it was all right. I was quite happy with that one. Not my favourite track, but car went well, and I had a trouble-free race really, and off I went. Yeah, romped off.
And track conditions were a bit dry in the first one, but it was a fast race and there wasn't really anybody coming to get you.
No, first 2 or 3 laps were a little damp as they'd watered it, as you'd expect, but then it did slick off, and I could see Craig Finn in my mirror, but he didn't seem to be making any ground, and so I just kept at it, and jobs are good, and yeah, we'll take that.
And best of luck for the final.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
The most famous words in motorsport herald 24 V8 engines into life for our feature race of the day here at Stoke, the World Championship semi-final. Semi-final number 2 for 2017. In pole position is number 4, Dan Johnson. Alongside him, 2-1-2 of Danny Wainman. 2 rolling laps, and then this will be a 20-lap race. One of the Brisca Formula 1 heritage cars leading the cars around. That's a replica of Ron Rogers' number 52 car, number 152 car I should say. So front row is Johnson and Danny Wainman. On the second row, the reigning world champion Frankie Wainman Jr. and number 84 of Tom Harris. The third row, 259, Paul Hines, and 150, yes he's back, Mick Sauder, Mr. Box Office himself. 464 Luke Davidson on a rare Shale appearance. 21 Mark Gilbank is in there. 220 of Will Hunter. 183 Steve Whittle has qualified well. Then in behind them we've got 207 Ben Herdman, 249 Joff Gibson, 186 is Todd Jones, number 11 Neil Scriven, again normally a tarmac racer. 3 absentees that had qualified. Incidentally, no Scott Davids, no Elliott Smith and no Sean Webster. They're replaced by Matt Armstrong in 455, 73 Rob Cowley in what he says will be his last season of racing. He'd love to get in the world final, and 463 James Morris, the other man stepping up from reserve. So we have our complement of 24 cars out there. Further back on the grid we've got Ashley England, number 346, looking to get into his first world final, I can see there. Drew Lammas likewise in 543, 335 Mark Woodhull, he's something of a shale specialist. Billy Johnson in 169 is in there. Mal Brown in 34. Superb lineup of cars we have out there. Daniel van Spijker, the Dutchman, making a return. I believe he's in one of Lee Fairhurst's cars. He's been racing Brisca F2 this season, qualified through the World Qualifiers towards the end of last year. 518 Stuart Cheville there at the back in Ryan Harrison's car. Number 518, the Scotsman, in a borrowed car for today, normally a tarmac racer. So here we go then, it will be green flag next time by. Dan Johnson on pole in the number 4. 212, Danny Wainman alongside him. Junior Wainman in number 1 and Tom Harris in 84 on the second row. 24 cars, 10 to qualify over 20 laps, waiting for the green flag. Let's get ready to rumble. The green flag goes down, Johnson's away. Danny Wainman's not away, he's pulled up on turn 4. What's happened there? We lose Will Hunter through the marker tyres there in 220. Good start by Steve Whittle in 183. He's made up a couple of places. It's Dan Johnson who leads. Paul Hines, I think, has got up into second place in 259. We look back from Tom Harris in car number 84, fighting for third position. He gets into a bit of a tangle there with Junior Wainman in the number 1, and Harris has slowed up. Our camera car, number 84, has slowed. There's a real melee behind there as expected at turns 3 and 4. Wallop goes Joff Gibson into the side of Tom Harris. I think Harris is out of the race. So we've lost our first couple of big names. That's Daniel van Spijker being taken out in 231. Matt Armstrong in 455 spins. Where is Daniel van Spijker going? Goes straight across the track there. There's another car in the fence at turn 3. I think that's Luke Davidson, quite possibly in 464. But after all that, Dan Johnson still has the lead ahead of Paul Hines in the 259. We'll try and work out the rest of the order in a moment. Frankie Wainman Jr., the reigning world champion, losing out to Mick Sauder there in 150. Great to have Mick back. Slowing there Mal Brown in 34 with the aerofoil missing from his car. He's got a puncture, he'll be out of the race. Johnson's taken off in the lead. We've also lost Todd Jones in the 186. The caution flags, I think, are out. Yes, with so many cars littering the raceway, the caution flags come out. We'll pick up the race order in just a moment then, after all those early changes in those mayhem-filled first couple of laps. Johnson slows the field down. They will form up single file. And Mick Sauder pulling off. The 150 car is out of the race, so no world final for Mick this year. That's a great shame. So Johnson the leader. Matt Armstrong's a lap down. It's Paul Hines in second. Danny Wainman next in the order in 212, but he's a lap down. Of course, he suddenly stopped on turn 4, so it's Junior Wainman third behind the lapped car of Stu Sheville. Mark Gilbank is fourth in the number 21. Real unsung hero of Brisca F1 he is. Always towards the front in the title races, never seems to win one. 220 is fifth, that is Will Hunter. Managed to survive that melee out of turn 4. Saw him go through the marker tyres. So Dan Johnson, the man from Nottinghamshire, leads the way, car number 4, former silver top, former European champion as well, as we get back underway. Good smoke there from Paul Hines, car number 259, former European and British champion in second place. Junior Wainman in third, under fire from Mark Gilbank in the 21. Can Junior Wainman keep the gold roof, the number 1, for another 12 months? There's a superstition in Brisca F1 that says that drivers carrying number 1 never manage to win their world title, they never retain it. Maybe Junior Wainman can do so this year. He's under fire here from Mark Gilbank, has a look on the inside. Side by side down the straight, we're on board with Junior Wainman, holding off Mark Gilbank, goes out wide to the Armco, just about gets his foot down, stays ahead of the number 21, the man from Rotherham. Further back in 5th place is Will Hunter in the 220, that's your top 5 at the moment. Junior Wainman's just done the fastest lap of the race, bumpers going in there, 3 cars go out, one of them was James Morris, another Billy Johnson. I think the other man in the middle of that was Ashley England in 346, yes it was, on turn 2. He's in a borrowed car this weekend, normally races on the tarmac, so races Brisca F2 does Ace Ash England. The fastest lap of the race for Junior Wainman, but it's Dan Johnson away and gone in front in number 4. I think barring any major problem with the car, he's got this race won already, and we're not yet up to half distance. Pulling away from Paul Hines in second place. Another fastest lap though for Junior Wainman. He's reeling off the fastest times here. He's in third place. Billy Johnson goes a lap down in 1:69. Sometimes in races here at Stoke they become so brutal that just finishing is tantamount to victory. Maybe we'll only get 10 finishers in this World semi-final. There is Danny Wainman in 212 again, bouncing off the fence. He had a problem at the start of the race, just came to a dead stop on turn 4. Union flag going out from the start marshal. I think I might have gone out a lap too early actually. We're just going into lap 10. It's Dan Johnson who continues to lead, he doesn't mind. He's built up a massive lead here, coming up to lap, I think that's the 543 of Drew Lammas. 21 of Mark Gilbank, still in 4th place. He's dropped back a little from Junior Wainman now. So that Billy Johnson in 169, no relation to Dan Johnson incidentally. There is Will Hunter in 5th place in 220. Danny Wainman continues to try to make up the deficit. Clearly nothing wrong with the car, so I don't know why he came to a dead stop before he'd even crossed the start line. Maybe he wanted to start at the back, who knows? Anyway, that's who knows. Let's see if he can qualify for the World Final at Ipswich in September. Reader coming up to lap Stu Sheville, the Scotsman now in 518, the former Saloon stock car star. Wheel of one of Ryan Harrison's cars today. It's a lap on the Scots coming out of turn 4. And Johnson completely dominant so far. We look back from our 2nd place man, Paul Hines. That's in James Morris's stranded car there. Junior Wainman in 3rd place. Laps start to count down. 543 Drew Lammas has been lapped. Very rare Shale appearance for him. Another ex-Brisca F2 man, his first full season in Brisca F1 this year, and he'll be very pleased if he can get into the World Final. He goes well around Ipswich, so if he gets in, he could be a factor. Don't forget, only 10 drivers to go through. Looks like the leading positions are pretty much settled now, the top 4 or 5. We can't see Dan Johnson being caught here. He's taking it steady up front. He and Nigel Green will then decide who starts on the front row by a toss of a coin after this race. Find out who goes inside and outside on the front row for the big race at Ipswich. Not quite there yet though, there are still 3 laps to go for Dan Johnson. There's Junior Wainman chasing Paul Hines. Dan Johnson clear in the lead. Mark Gilbank looking quick in 4th place. Here comes up to lap Ashley England in 346. Still running, but I think he's outside the qualifying places after that shunt on turn 2 with James Morris earlier on. Junior Wainman chasing Paul Hines. Is he going to last bend lunge in maybe? Closing in on the 259 car. Now into turns 3 and 4. They're not going to catch Johnson in car number 4. Last lap board is out. Starting from pole position, he has led every lap. He's certainly going to be one of the favourites for this year's World Final at Ipswich. Coming in to win the second World Championship semi-final, Dan Johnson will take the win. Paul Hines is going to hold on for second place as Johnson crosses the line to win it. Paul Hines will take second, Junior Wainman is third. Bring you the rest of the top 10 in just a few moments' time. Congratulations to Dan Johnson. Secures himself a front row slot for this year's World Championship final at Ipswich on the Vauxhall Heath tarmac, finishing well clear of Paul Hines in the end. And Junior Wainman, the reigning world champion, taking third. We'll have a look at the full qualifiers then. Johnson the winner, ahead of Hines by nearly 2 seconds. Junior Wainman third, ahead of Mark Gilbank. Will Hunter fifth. Ben Herdman in 2:07 took 6th. Then Mark Woodhull, Drew Lammas qualifying for his first world final. Danny Wayman made it back up to 9th, and Billy Johnson rounding out the top 10. They are your qualifiers for the world final. All that's left then is the coin toss, taking place between Nigel Green and Dan Johnson. And Nigel Green has won the toss, and he will take the inside of the front row for the world final.
Number 4, Dan Johnson, winner of semi-final 2. Everybody went out for a spin, and away you went.
Yeah, I'm just sorry to the crowd. It weren't a epic semi-final, but a bit roundy, I think. But we managed to take the win. That was the main thing. Now we'll have to entertain crowd in final now.
Yeah, you lost the coin toss. You've got the outside grid position, which not everybody wants, but you've got to get rid of Nigel on that first corner, I think.
Yeah, I think if I were on the front row inside and he were on the outside, they would have been getting me and Nigel. I think they're going to be all spot balling Nigel, and hopefully they'll just forget about me on the outside, and I'll be able to sneak in and get my foot down.
And
we'll see.
Remembering back to Ipswich earlier in the season, you said you were happy with the tar car, you got your win, you knew your settings, so happy days.
Yeah, it was very quick, the car. We have altered things since then, but so it's just a decision: do we stay with a new setup or do we go back to the old setup around there? So it'll be a big question, but we'll have a look at in the garage and we'll take it from there. It's a decision we'll make.
All best of luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations then to Dan Johnson on his victory, and congratulations to all 10 who have made it through to the world final at Ipswich. They will join the top 10 from the other world semi-final at Skegness. More great racing to come from here at Stoke. Join us in a few moments' time. Welcome back to brisca Formula 1 stock car racing here on Premier Sports from the Stoke Shaleway. Drivers getting ready for the Consolation events. These for the drivers who didn't get through to the final at the first attempt from the heats or the world semi-final. Getting ready then, we have 22 cars on track for our Consolation events, looking for a place in the meeting final. Tom Harris out there, number 84, was an early casualty with a puncture in the World Championship semi. We've also got Mick Sauder out there as well. He was an early retirement as well earlier on. Rob Cowley is out there, sadly won't be in the World Final in his last season of brisca F1 racing. Ben Riley is out there, Luke Davidson, also Matt Newson in car number 16. One car pulling off to the centre, that was James Morris in car number 463 on the home straights. 448 of Jason Eaton, 263 of Chris Worrell will lead the field away, the two white graders. So here we go, over 16 laps, the Consolations. 263 Chris Worrell making a good start as the green flag goes down. Further back in the order, watch for Mick Sauder in car number 150. Engine problems have prevented much of his racing this year. 268 Richard Woods under fire from 137, that is Sam Jacklin. Yellow graders battling it out amongst one another. Ashley England was just climbing the fence there on the back straight. It's Chris Worrell who leads the way ahead of Jason Eaton in second, and the phalanx of yellow tops all battling for third place. Round goes Richard Woods up there, he nearly lost it, cuts in, Worrell's lost it coming out of turn 2, he spins, so does Jason Eaton, and I think Richard Woods in trouble as well. Yes, he's gone off, so Nigel Harry's gone to the front, he's gone from fourth to first in the space of a single turn. More yellow graders piling in, oh they're all going off on the outside, about half a dozen cars in there, there's more piling in at the back. Oh, it's too many to mention there. Ben Riley spun out in 422. Nigel Harry's come through all of that into the lead. Arthur Field stuck at turn 3. Now is he going to be able to get through here on the inside in the 45 car? Ben Riley coming across the track. Look out, race leaders. Nigel Harry, brilliantly through the gap there on the inside. Nigel Harry and he's cut through the marker tyres and he's taken the lead. He went through a chicane there on turn 4. He's got the 137 of Sam Jacklin up behind him. He's now been bumped by Neil Scriven, I think that is in the number 11. They've gone mad in this Consolation race. Half the field is stuck in the fence at turn 3. Steve Whittle there rejoining, and basically everybody's got going again from that pile-up, apart from just 1 or 2 stuck there. Ashley England against the pit gate, Matt Armstrong's there, and also Richard Bryan in car number 238. We're on board with Tom Harris in car 84, looking back at Geoff Gibson in the 249 car. The race starts to settle down again after that little pile-up on turn 3, changed the complexion of the race. Nigel Harry with the lead then in car number 45. Matt Armstrong stuck on at turn 4, he's out of it. Ben Riley in 422 gets shoved wide by Neil Scriven. He's in second place. Matt Newson, meanwhile, has done the fastest lap of the race, but he's further down the order. Harry leads it from Scriven. Ben Riley in behind them. He's a lap down after spinning earlier on in that pile-up. Mick Sauder is next in 150, so he could be the favourite for victory here. Ben Riley gets spun again, but he spent most of this race, to be fair, facing the wrong way. Here comes Tom Harris in car 84 now, getting past Sam Jacklin in the 137. Next in the order is Matt Newson, I think, now. Bumpers going in further forward in the order. Nigel Harry in the 45 under fire from Neil Scriven. He's picked him up coming around turns 1 and 2. Harry just hanging on there in the lead, I think, as they go down the back straight. Scriven got sideways there. Nigel Harry has got the lead, but I think he's got a puncture. Oh, what a shame. Yes, the rear tyre has gone on Nigel Harry's car. That means that Mick Sauder, I think, will take over the lead in car number 150. There he is. Mick Sauder's taken it up. Nigel Harry out of the race for the puncture. Tom Harris up into second place, so the 2 pre-race favourites first and second. Nigel Harry will drop back with a flat rear tyre. Tom Harris ready to attack Mick Sauder for the lead. They're being held up by a couple of back markers. Mal Brown ahead of them. Chris Worrell as well. In goes the bumper from Harris. It'll go up the inside as they come into turns 1 and 2. The former world champion takes the lead. Mick Sauder sure to fight back as they go into turn 3. He picks up Harris. He spins him out and wallop straight in goes Sauder. Harris left facing the wrong way. Well, who's got the lead after all that then? I think it might be Geoff Gibson in 249. No, it's Neil Scriven, because he had to cut past the marker tyres there. Gibson now goes to the inside. What is going on with this race? They've gone completely mad. It was so quiet earlier on in the heats of the World semi-final, and the drivers just going berserk in this Consolation race. We've lost Mick Sauder. I think we've lost Tom Harris as well, although he's still going further down the order. 249, Geoff Gibson has got the lead then ahead of Neil Scriven. There is Harris behind them, but I think we're going yellow flags because of those cars stranded at turns 3 and 4. So Geoff Gibson will have to slow the field down. But the lap board's still being displayed by the start marshal. There are yellow flags on the back. It looks as if half the stadium has yellow flags out and the front half on the home straight doesn't. I don't understand that. Well, Geoff Gibson in fact slows. Neil Scriven's gone around him. I think Geoff Gibson thinks the caution has come out. We've got some drivers slowing up and some aren't. I don't know what's going on here. The yellow flags, I think, have now been withdrawn from the back straight. Well, I don't know what that was all about. We seem to have briefly the yellow flags out, and now Geoff Gibson gets walloped straight in by Tom Harris into the side of Mick Sauder's car. The race is still going on. We're into the last lap up, and I haven't got a clue who's leading now. We'll have to wait and see who the checkered flag goes down on. I've completely lost track of this race after that bizarre incident with the yellow flags. That was bizarre. The checkered flag will come out this time, and it drops, I think, on Matt Newson in car number 16. But we'll have to wait for confirmation of that. I will freely admit I haven't got a clue who's won that. Checkered flag has dropped on Matt Newson in car number 16, but there was so much confusion there with some of the marshals waving yellow flags and some not. A real confusing end to our Consolation race. We'll check out the result then, and in fact it was Neil Scriven who crossed the line in front ahead of Matt Newson. Tom Harris taking third, and Geoff Gibson recovering for fourth place. 12 cars went the distance. Well, Geoff Gibson down there on the start line, clearly not happy, and he's heading up to protest, I think.
Number 11, Neil Scriven, winner of a somewhat controversial Consolation. What was your take on that?
The starter was still green, so I just kept going. They've been waving yellow on this side, on this straight, for a couple of laps, and Geoff slowed down for whatever reason, because I guess they were waving yellows, but down the start straight they weren't waving yellow. So who knows what to do. So I just thought, well, I'm going. So I just went.
That's it. When it's down to the track, you've just got to keep your head down and keep going, and a win's a win.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's definitely not the right way to take a win, but you know, can only go by what the starter's doing, and he leads the race. So there we go.
And get it all ready and go out for what could be an interesting final.
Yeah, we'll see. We've got quite a lot of damage from the semi, and that damage has been made worse. We've got the brakes because of problems with the back axle. See what happens. We'll have a look, see what we decide. See what happens.
Well, best of luck.
Cheers.
249, Geoff Gibson. We're not interviewing you as the winner of the Consolation, although you could have been. It was somewhat controversial. We've had one side of the story. What's your side?
Well, I think everyone's seen what it was like. There was 2 stewards waving yellows, 2 that weren't. Half at race followed one side, half at race followed the other. I think that's down outside of it, but you know, when you see a wave yellow, if they all did, they should have all slowed down. I did what I was meant to do, followed the waving yellow, and apparently other people didn't. I've got a sore back anyway, I know that.
Well, it's never nice to have a race win took off you, or not get the win when you think you've deserved it. We've spoken to Neil. He's not overly happy about how he won it either.
No,
but
he didn't deserve it, I'll tell you the truth. He didn't deserve it, and right, he should say that. And I don't know, it's just, I'm having a few problems. Cars are right, drivers right, tracks are not right.
you just need a bit of luck.
I need a bit of luck, mate, that's what it is.
Well, best of luck, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers, pal.
Differing points of view then on that rather bizarre Consolation race. Now it's time for the meeting final. We have 27 cars on the grid for this one. This will be a 20-lap race. Jason Eaton and Russell Cooper leading the field away. The track freshly watered, as you can see. Is it going to be as mad as that Consolation was? The drivers seem to go a bit berserk in that race. Tom Harris in particular was smashing everything in sight. He's got through to this meeting final. So up there we have our semi-final qualifiers, of course. Paul Harrison as well, our earlier winner. Chris Farnell, the winner of the Whites and Yellows race, made it through from Heat 1 as well. He's in the back of the yellow tops, just going through there. Geoff Gibson at the front of the Blues. Now he'll be in an angry mood here, I reckon, wanting to make up for a lost win, potentially, in our Consolation race tonight. So the 2 white grade qualifiers lead them round then, Jason Eaton and Russell Cooper. 20 laps of racing on the freshly watered Stoke Shaleway gets underway. Down the home straight they come then. It's Russell Cooper running wide there. Jason Eaton could take the lead. We've got red graders already all over each other. Frankie JJ and Ben Herdman go out along with Carl Hawkins. Matt Newson spins on the inside. Mark Gilbank was involved there as well in the 21. Jason Eaton leads in car 448 then around the first lap. Russell Cooper under fire from Sam Jacklin. 137 trying to go through for second. Chris Farnell spins out there in the 32. He gets collected by 335 of Mark Woodhull. Early chaos there on turn 4. Moving out wide, Frankie Wainman Jr. in number 1, battling with Tom Harris in car 84. Let's see what Tom can do here. Missed out on the world final. He'll have to go in the Consolation semi-final at Ipswich, where only the top 2 qualify through. Effectively a last chance race in all but name. Looks like we have a new leader. Neil Scriven has taken over up front ahead of Sam Jacklin. We've lost Jason Eaton in 448, but Scriven getting caught up there with Sam Jacklin. The 2 yellow graders tangle down the back straight. That's given Russell Cooper the lead in car 415. So Sam Jacklin tangles there with Scriven, and they're stuck on the back straight as Nigel Green gets past 278 of Paul Hopkins. Nigel Green's made a good start here. Hopkins now spun out by Paul Hines in 259. But I think we've got yellow flags. Yes, this time the caution is out with Sam Jacklin stuck on the back straight. Russell Cooper leading the way. Oh, he's put himself in at turn 3 there. Now he was leading the race, so he will take up the lead position for the restart. There's the reason for the stoppage. Sam Jacklin stuck facing the wrong way on the back straight. The front wheel is damaged, so he can't move away. So it's the 415 of Russell Cooper with the lead ahead of Geoff Gibson in second. I think Neil Scriven is there in third in number 11. Ready for the restart, then away they go. Will Hunter fourth. It's Frankie JJ and wallop straight in goes Paul Hines. That was courtesy of, I think, Junior Wainman and Billy Johnson, a combination there. Geoff Gibson attacking for the lead on the back of the 415 car of Russell Cooper. Well, Paul Hines has continued after being put in there, and in goes Russell Cooper now, courtesy of Gibson. We've lost a couple more there. Joe Booth was one of them, and Chris Farnell. Booth gets hit by Frankie JJ as he rejoins. on turns 3 and 4. Nigel Green breezing his way through the lot of them here in 4-4-5. Oh, this is fantastic so far. More mayhem in the background, and in goes Matt Newson heavily there. Didn't quite see who put him in. Into the back of Paul Hines, who'd just been tapped into the wall, and the caution flags come out again. They've gone mad again in this meeting final. Caution out again for a couple of stranded cars on the raceway. Still your leader, Geoff Gibson, in 249. Slows the field down. Now here's what happened from board with Paul Hines. That's the first impact he took from Billy Johnson in 169. Junior Wainman getting involved as well. Wallop, straight in they went on turn 3. Johnson was the man who came off worst in that, and then Paul Hines again. Oh, it was a hit from Wainman he took. He went into the wall, and then a couple more cars, Mark Gilbank and Matt Newson, smashed into him. See it in slow motion. Paul Hines got the bumper from Junior Wainman, and wallop straight in he went, taking Joe Booth with him, and then coming in behind at high speed, Matt Newson, followed by Mark Gilbank. They've gone wild in this meeting final, to say the least. Getting ready for the restart then. What's going to happen this time? Geoff Gibson. Be pretty sweet for him if he could hang on and take the final here, but he's got Will Hunter in 220, the former novice of the year, behind him. But Nigel Green already, we're only just going into lap 5, is up into 3rd place. Looking for his 9th final win this year, Nigel Green, on tarmac and shale. There's Craig Finnegan in 55, chasing Junior Wainman in the number 1. Sliding wide there, Neil Scriven. He'll lose out to Wainman, I think, coming off the turn into the sunset. Hope the setting sun doesn't cause any visibility problems for the drivers there. Nigel Green up into 2nd place. He's past Will Hunter, I think, now. It's Geoff Gibson in 249 who has the lead. Nigel Green into 2nd, then it's Junior Wainman. 55, Craig Finnegan has come through into 4th place. The race quietening down after those crazy first few laps. Will Hunter's spun, that's where he's gone. And now Junior Wainman's put away by Craig Finnegan. The world champion in trouble there. He's gone into the fence at turn 1. Craig Finnegan is up to that, and Finnegan puts himself in now at turn 3. Frankie JJ goes out as well. I think there's a magnet in that barrier at turns 3 and 4. We've had so many cars go walloping into the wall there. Craig Finnegan just went in all on his own. Bizarre race this is turning into. Geoff Gibson doesn't care though. He's keeping his head while all around him seemingly losing theirs. All except, that is, Nigel Green and the European champion chasing down 249. Geoff Gibson for the lead. Junior Wainman's out of the race. He's in the wall at turn 1. Was bumpered in there by Craig Finnegan, who then promptly put himself in the wall at the other end of the raceway. And in goes the bumper now from Green. Away goes Gibson, and into the lead goes Nigel Green, chased by Frankie JJ, although I think Frankie JJ in treble 5 is a lap down. In which case Green has now got a huge lead. There's not many other cars left at this stage. We're only just coming up to halfway. So Nigel Green, well, this is his race to lose now. There's the Union flag for half distance, 10 laps gone, 10 to go. I think Geoff Gibson has dropped out of the race. Yes, he's on the infield. There is Danny Wainman. He's having a go at Carl Hawkins in the 175 car. So it's Nigel Green, Paul Harrison in 2nd, and well, Carl Hawkins was 3rd, but he's just been potted on turn 1 by Danny Wainman. Every time somebody gets into a decent position behind Nigel Green, they get walloped straight in. Green's away and gone. Try and work out who's in 2nd. I think it's Paul Harrison in 2nd place, possibly Danny Wainman in 3rd, but it's chopping and changing so much in the pack. There have been so many cars drop out, I can't keep up with this. What we do know is Nigel Green is running away with it, slapping Russell Cooper there in 4.15. Will Hunter has done the fastest lap of the race there, but he's at nearly a lap down, just in front of the leader. He spun earlier on. It's just all played into Nigel Green's hands. There is Danny Wainman, a better run from him this time in car 212. Craig Finnegan on a recovery drive as well, further back in the order. We're on board with Paul Hines, who's still going after a couple of crunches earlier on. He's quite a way down the order, I think, here. Then again, maybe not, because there's so few cars left out there. He might have moved quite a way back up again. Construction derby of a race, this one. 5 to run for Nigel Green. Coming up to lap Jeff Nichols, veteran campaigner in 215, regularly goes over to the Netherlands to race on their dirt tracks. So he's quite at home here at Stoke on the slightly bumpy shale surface. The surface here at Stoke, I have to say, the track staff have done a fine job. The surface much better than it has been in the past. Nigel Green out in front now, heading for final win number 9 this season. Surely now nothing can stop him other than an engine failure. Nigel Green will take pole position, we heard earlier, for this year's World Final. Many tipping him as the favourite for the world title. They go on about the curse of pole position. If you're on pole, you get walloped straight in on the first turn of the World Final. But Nigel, with the speed he's shown on tarmac this year, may well just drive away into the sunset. That's exactly what he's doing here on the Stoke Shaleway in this meeting 5. Nobody near him. There's a battle further back. Paul Hines, Craig Finnegan and Will Hunter all recovering after mishaps earlier on. It's going to be a win for Nigel Green. I think it's Paul Harrison in second place, but he's a long way behind the Green machine. Nigel Green off the final turn takes the win. 9 final wins for the season, and the rest, quite frankly, in a different race. Confirm the rest of the top 10 in just a moment. But Nigel Green quite literally ran away into the sunset in that one. Everybody else seemed to self-destruct behind him. Nigel Green pull up on the centre to take the spoils of victory. Once again, a familiar sight this season, winning by 9 seconds ahead of Paul Harrison. That's about 3/4 of a lap. Danny Wainman taking third ahead of Paul Hines and Craig Finnegan rounding out the top 5. Only 10 finishers in that one, and it was Will Hunter who got the fastest lap in car number 220.
445, final winner in luxurious surroundings for once. You're unstoppable at the minute.
Yeah, I'm just having a good run, aren't I, at the moment? So yeah, it was quite a straightforward race. Bit of contact at the start of the race, pushed Tom wide onto some slippery shale, and he got collected, and basically from then on I was unchallenged then to the finish. So it was a decent race from then on.
And it's all fallen into place. You've got pole for the World Final tonight now, and finals at Sheffield, finals here, no wheels on the curb. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't think I did a lot wrong in that one then, that they could pull me up on. Yeah, it's going well. I'm having a good run at the moment, so I just keep my head down, keep doing what I do, and just hope the results keep coming.
Well, best of luck.
Thanks.
Nigel Green as final winner, starting 1 lap down for the last event of the night, the Grand National. We have 27 cars out there on track for this one. Names out there including the world champion Frankie Wademan Jr., number 2 Paul Harrison, Tom Harris is out there, mixed order, Craig Finnegan, and plenty more of the big names towards the back. It's Chris Worrell and Russell Cooper who will lead them off though. Nigel Green's got to catch them all up from the lap handicap. 2 white graders at the front then, 16 laps the distance for our last race of the night. Bit of a slow getaway from the blue tops there, Joe Booth and James Morris, and Booth's going to get walloped straight in, almost straight away. That's also claimed James Morris in 4.63. As we get underway with our Grand National event, Craig Finnegan giving chase to Tom Harris in car 84, gets a tap in there into the back of Carl Hawkins at turn 1, so Finnegan on the attack from the off. He's got Junior Wainman behind him in the number 1. Plenty of busy action already in the midfield there. Bumpers going in behind, and Craig Finnegan I think slowing up. Yes, looks like he's possibly got a problem. It's Russell Cooper who's got the early lead in car 415 ahead of Ashley England in 346 in second place. Further back in the order, more bumpers going in. That magnetised bit of wall at turn 3 claims another victim, Ben Herdman in 207. Sam Jacklin was already in there in the 137 car. It's Cooper who leads, Ashley England is second, his transponder's not working, so the lap counter showing John Dowson Jr. as second. More cars piling it up there, that's Chris Farnell and Nigel Harry. Great cloud of smoke. I think Chris Farnell may have blown his engine there. Great cloud of smoke from the 32 car. Russell Cooper with the lead, then ahead of Ashley England. Russell Cooper running wide and he crashes into Chris Farnell. Now Farnell's car has caught fire there. Now I think the flags were already out for that fire, so Russell Cooper will be able to retake his lead. Chris Farnell signalling for help. The marshals will come in with the fire extinguishers from the 32 car. You can see the amounts of liquid that's come out after the engine grenaded on Chris Farnell's car, but he appears to be okay, fortunately. We get ready for a restart now that the track is cleared. Russell Cooper has been able to retake his position at the front of the field. The race had already been stopped when he got taken out there. and the green flag not going out. So the green flag doesn't drop. The officials not happy with the race order for that one, I think. So we're going to take them round for another lap, possibly under yellow. The drivers are anticipating a restart there, perhaps a few of them jumping the gun slightly in the pack, and the steward has sent them round again. Russell Cooper with the lead in 4.15. Will we go green at this time? Those clouds at the moment. Now we go green, and away they go. Russell Cooper and Ashley England lead them off. John Dowson Jr. backing up the rest of the field in third place as England punts the bumper in there, and he goes through down the inside on the back straight. 3.46 Ashley England into the lead. Then into the wall goes Joe Booth in 4.46. Tom Harris goes around, tangling there with Billy Johnson, gets hit by Paul Harrison as well. Tom Harris has had a luckless evening so far. He didn't get into the World Final, and now he's being pushed well and truly by a combination of Mick Sauder and Joe Booth, and onto the centre goes Tom Harris with a push there from Mick Sauder, who rejoins, bounces off Danny Wainman. Disastrous evening for Tom Harris in car number 84. Mick Sauder not the best of evenings either, failed to get into the World Final. They'll be in the Consolation semi. Race settling back down again then. Leader is Ashley England in car number 3.46, I think. Yes, there he is. Down the home straight, he's number 8.46 in the Formula 2s. Dad and granddad, both named Alan England, have raced in brisca F1. Alan England Senior and Junior. It's Ashley who leads the way here. Looks like it could be Danny Wainman up into second place, possibly in 2.12. There's Paul Harrison, car number 2, already a winner tonight. He took heat number 1. Raced by Ben Riley. We lose, I think that's Luke Davidson in the background, possibly there, in 4.64. Ashley England continues to lead. The Union flag is out for half distance. 8 laps gone and 8 to go in this Grand National event. The dust's beginning to fly here on the Stoke Shaleway. Ben Riley has just done the fastest lap of the race in car number 4.22. Tom Harris rejoining from the centre there. He's possibly trying to get some points in as the attrition rate strikes again. He might be able to get into the points paying positions if few enough cars finish. Harrison going well there in car number 2. I think he might now be in second place with Ben Riley behind him. There is our leader, 3.46 Ashley England. Well clear at the front of the field, coming up on Luke Davidson, who's struggling again in 4.64. Not his preferred surface, Shale. As the bumper goes in there from Ben Herdman on the back of Mick Sauder in car number 150. Well, I think may have a problem there. He's slowing down. Paul Harrison well behind our race leader, Ashley England. Oh, and what's happened there? It looks like Tom Harris has gone into Mick Sauder's car. Tom Harris with the damage to the right front of the car. He's gone off onto the centre. So what has happened there? 3.46 Ashley England still leading the way. Mick Sauder's car still stuck there at turn 2. The yellow flags are going to come out. So Ashley England with the lead, but Mick Sauder stuck there on the back straight, so the caution has to come out again. Collision there between Tom Harris and Mick Sauder. And we go yellow flags to check on Mick Sauder there. Cloud of steam from the front of his car. The marshal's just talking to Mick there to make sure he is okay. It's slowing up there, I think, after a push from Ben Herdman. I think he had a car problem, was then collected by at least one car coming out of turn 2. Looked like it was Tom Harris in the 84 car that went into Mick's machine, and the medics having to come out onto track, and we have a red flag, and I think that's going to be end of race. Yes, red and checkered flags, so the race is going to end early. It will be a win for Ashley England in 3.46 ahead of Paul Harrison and Ben Riley. Neil Scriven and Frankie Wainman Jr. completing the top 5. Nigel Green classified 10th. So we can now confirm the grid for the World Final at Ipswich in September. Nigel Green and Dan Johnson taking the front row, with Paul Hines and Stuart Smith in behind them. The overseas qualifiers will be inserted on row 3 as ever, then Ryan Harrison and the reigning champion Junior Wainman. Look who's lurking on row 7 though. Rob Speak, stock car legend, starts alongside Will Hunter. Further back in the order, the likes of Paul Harrison and Drew Lamas, World Final rookie, down there on row 11. Then further back towards the rear, we've got the other 2 Wainmans, Danny and Frankie JJ, the top 2 from the Consolation semi-final to qualify in as well. A lively and controversial meeting here at Stoke then. Thanks very much for watching here on Premier Sports. It's goodbye for now.